Welcome ladies and gentlemen, this will be the first build video where I shift the focus. I will only talk quickly about the setup itself because you can find most information on my website. I will put a link into the description and I will put more focus on like rotation. We will analyze combat metrics, parse, and I want to show you some variations, what else you can run and all that kind of stuff. When we look at our setup, really nice stats, nice stamina recovery, 5th Mundus Stone. I am a Redguard, you can be a Redguard, Imperial, Khajiit or an Orc. I like Redguard, best sustain. Damage difference to a Khajiit, basically 0. It's really not a big deal. You can be a Vampire if you want to. Now, I'm using 5 War Machine, 5 Two-Fanged and 2 Stormfist. Now War Machine really synergizes well with Stamina Templar because of Crescent Sweep. It only costs 72 ultimate points. If you don't have War Machine, you can run Hunting's Rage. Hunting's Rage is craftable, so you have easy access to weapons. War Machine weapons are kind of difficult to get. Now, I have one sharpened with a weapon damage enchant and infused with a poison enchant. The poison enchant needs to be on the infused weapon main hand. That way, the poison enchant will go freaking nuts and do almost 2k single target DPS. It's insane. Maelstrom Bow on the back bar, sharpened. Best thing you can get. Now Stormfist. Why Stormfist? The only class that doesn't have sustain issues is like a Stamina Dragon Knight. Stormfist helps us actually a lot, and I had better DPS results with Stormfist in terms of sustain. And also damage-wise, it deals more damage than Velidref, at least on the Stamina Templar. Some reason. Now you see I have light and 6 medium. You can run 7 medium, you can run 5 medium, 1 heavy, 1 light. Or like 6 medium, 1 heavy. It doesn't matter. It's barely any difference. I actually recommend running 5-1-1 because then you have like 17.2k health. Makes it easier to survive. Sure, you lose a little bit of crit, but it's really not a lot. All weapon damage enchants. Can you use other monster sets? Sure. Velidref, if you want to, Selene, go for it. The CP set we can find on my website. Make sure to adjust it according to jump points. There's also an article on my website. Now here, piercing. As you have seen, we have an infused weapon, so we don't have 2 sharpened. That's why I make up for the loss of penetration with piercing. I just put like 19 points in here. Then for tumbling, make sure to have 100 tenacity, because you want more like heavy attack, stamina restore stuff. Mooncalf, 50 Warlord. You also can pump all in Mooncalf if you want, but you see the max is 15%. With 56, I'm already at 12%, so it doesn't matter. Now the rotation. So first off, let's check out the setup here. I'm running War Machine. Now, the most important thing that you need to remember is Piercing Spear. Increase your critical damage done and your damage against blocking targets by 10% while you have Aedric Spear ability slotted. So you need to have one slotted to get the 10% extra damage on crits. Crescent Sweep here, jabs here. And here I have the shards. Shards is also nice on trash, you can throw it, somebody can pick it up. Kind of stuff. If you don't run War Machine, you could run the Crescent Sweep on the back bar and then you can place something else than shards here. Up to you. Now the rotation. So the rotation... Let me just try to explain you how it works. So we drop Endless Hail, Light Attack, Poisoning Injection, Light Attack, Cult Drops, Light Attack, Weapon Swap, then we drop the Trap, Heavy Attack, Power of the Light, Heavy Attack, Rending Slashes, Heavy Attack, Biting Jabs, Light Attack, Deadly Cloak, Light Attack, Power of the Light, Weapon Swap, then restart. When I do this in quick succession, it looks something like this. So you see, like, my friend Blackrocks came up with his rotation. It's really neat. You barely have any downtime on anything if you're fast enough, and you can keep power of the light up, which applies minor breach and minor fracture. Almost 100%, so that's really, really cool. What do you do when you have to use the ultimate? So you see, we do heavy attack, power of the light, heavy attack, rendings, heavy biting traps. So instead of a heavy attack, what you can do is you do, like, you come back from your back bar, you drop your trap, then you do a light attack, crescent sweep, light attack, power of the light, and then you go heavy attack again. So basically, instead of a heavy attack, we do a light attack, crescent sweep, light attack. That's the difference. Now the bars, set up pretty simple. In the end, it's up to you how you set them up. It's just I apply like endless hail, injection, cult drops, and then I do like one skill after each other. For some people, like, it works better to have them all mixed up, because once you memorize your rotation, which should be your goal, if you have to look at your skills in a trial, you are going to die. So you need to memorize your rotation. Very important. Because every time you look on your rotation or on your abilities, you don't see what's happening around you. And then goodbye. Now let's do a DPS test on the 6 million target dummy. Keep in mind, I do not have major fracture. This is completely self-buffed. I do not have any person helping me applying other debuffs and that kind of stuff. Now you might think, yeah, well, you had no stamina left, you're not gonna survive in a raid, or like you're not gonna sustain. It's not really a problem, because in a raid you can pick up spears all the time, or orbs, which give you sustain, or you can also slot this. I actually also recommend slotting Repentance. Most boss fights have mobs with them and you can drain them. Like for example in Halls of Fabrication, the first boss, it's always mobs, like those small mobs that attack you. You can drain them. Basically, you can dish out so much damage, just saying. Because you see, like, this here, you don't really need this. I just have it here because I want the 3% extra damage, right? So you could slot this here if you want to. Up to you. That's just very important. I really recommend running Repentance in a raid. Now, let's check the Parse. First off, it's actually pretty nice damage. We don't have major fracture. White Fang goes up all the time, obviously. Then Hawkeye, 41%. Could be better, I guess. What is Hawkeye, you might ask? Bow tree. Every time you do a light attack, you do 5% more damage on your bow bar. Stacks up to 5 times, so really nice. Obviously, we lose the buff every time after we go to the front bar again. Then Major Slayer, 39%, so that's actually pretty nice. And especially if you have other people around you, you will boost them. Insane damage. You have 65% weapon crit average. Overall, we have 62% crits. Now, it's gonna be lower most of the times because Power of the Light cannot crit. And Stormfist cannot crit. You see now 816 and 416, so it's like 1.2k DPS from Stormfist. Sometimes it goes up to 1.6k even. It's really insane. And it's AoE damage actually. Set is really good and it helps with sustain. If I wouldn't run Stormfist, I would run faster out of stamina, which is not good. Now the next thing I want you to realize is this here, the poison weapon you see. Did almost 2k damage. This enchant here alone did almost 2k DPS. It's insane. In a raid, it's probably gonna even be more if you if it procs on cooldown, because you have other buffs like crit modifiers and all that kind of stuff. So like I said, infused main hand poison enchant. Next patch, it's actually gonna be even stronger because they are apparently buffing infused, so yeah. Then the next thing, the Twin Blade and Blunt Bleed. This comes from the Ox. Now we had 1.3k DPS from this. Some people prefer running 2 daggers because 1 dagger gives you 5% extra critical bonus due to, where is it here? You see, each dagger increases your weapon critical rating by 1950. That's 5% more or less. So you have to make your own choice. You want the bleed or you want more crit. I like the bleed, but maybe next patch I will also swap to dagger because they're changing the the thief moonstone a little bit and all kind of stuff. Then the next thing you see, Endless Hail. You have between 6 to 7k DPS from that, you have a really nice uptime. If it's lower, you're too slow. And Cult Drops has also really good DPS, but here's the catch with Cult Drops. So when I usually run out of sustain for whatever reason, I do not cast Cult Drops in my rotation. So for example, maybe I will only cast it every second rotation if I have sustain issues. That's all kind of things you need to learn to kind of micromanage yourself. I mean, I'm showing you the rotation, but the question is, can you successfully use it in a trial environment? Can you sustain it? If not, you have to make adjustments. Poison Injection also really strong. Power of the Light, now like I said, we have a really huge uptime on this, so gives us more penetration and it deals a ton of damage. Jabs, nice deeps, we use it once every rotation. Jabs also procs the Burning Light. Now Jabs and Crescent Sweep proc Burning Light. That's this passive here. it only procs from damage from Adric's spear abilities. So the only two we really have is jabs and crescent sweeps. And if you chose to use the shards to help other people. So it's not that high because we only have one jabs every rotation, right? Now heavy attack. I have a mix between light and heavy attack. Like you see 1.3k, 1k, and another 1.3k. It's not bad, it's kind of a mixture. Then another light, this is from the bow. That's more or less it. Rearming trap is also up all the time. Deals nice deep. Basically everything that is over 1.5k is really good. You see the ultimate, it's almost 2k DPS. So that's actually a lot of... Like that's actually where it should be more or less. Between 1 to 1.5k and more. For ultimate. This is especially nice because like I said, we get Major Slayer from this. Another thing, this Power of the Light is the start damage, 2.9k, and this is the initial hit, almost another 1k. So it's not actually only 2.9k, it's almost 3.9k. That's why Power of the Light is really, really strong. Then we have a few other things that whatever. Funny that concussion procced. Thing with Stormfist is like the first ticks are shock and then the last hit is physical damage. And you see that here in combat metrics. This is physical damage, the last hit, and then this is the shock damage. See, this procced 47 times and this only 15. Because each time this one procs, the shock one will proc 3 times, I think. More or less it about the Parse. Here I don't really have to explain anything. I mean, the minor fracture and breach comes from Power of the Light. Don't have major fracture. Now, in terms of sustain, you see like the base regeneration is 570, heavy attacks 405. I think this is from the potions and then adrenaline rush 100. That's why I say I really like red guards because they give you better sustain. If you run a Khajiit, you probably would have to do another heavy attack more, which will make you drop uptime on some kind of skill in the end. So that's why I say it's not really more DPS in the end. Most people think Khajiit is more deeps, but it's kind of the same more or less. So I hope this kind of helps a little bit more. Let me know what you think about this kind of build video. Do you like it more? What else would you like to hear? Because my next batch of build videos with Horns of the Reach will kind of have the similar build up. So if you have any suggestions, please let me know. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for watching and have a nice day. Cheers.